illiterate of the 21st century will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn.
So when we say AI, what is it? Explain it to me like I'm a teenager.
AI is replicating intelligence. It's essentially training the computer brain with information.
I don't know any clinical person who leaves work on time. You know, the patients are not happy, the healthcare professionals are not happy, the government is not happy. And to me, it seems like AI provides a solution for all three of them.
The good thing is, AI is the smallest learning curve ever.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to learn AI because it's going to be integrated into workflows.
I think the question to ask is, how will my job change in the world of AI? Because what does it even mean to be a doctor in 5 years?
Doctors with GPT-4 scored around 76%. GPT-4 on its own scored 92%.
That is
So
insane.
one of the conclusions is, when the doctors intervened, they were worse.
There will be a doctor in your pocket. I don't think people realize what a big revolution that is.
I'd love for it to be a time where you can wake up and your health accessible to you, like for
Right.
yourself at home.
Imagine this machine that is going to give you the advice you need in the language you understand. It does it for you 24/7, and it doesn't stop until you get it.
I think technology is moving so quickly, like the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be more change than the last like 10 to 20 years.
It's coming, right? And it sounds very crazy, but it is happening, whether we like it or not.
I just think the benefits massively outweigh any potential risks here.
Dean, welcome to Dose of Health. How are you, bro?
Thanks for having me, Avi. I'm well. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm so excited for this podcast, you know. Let's start with the most basic of the basic questions. Tell us who you are and what led you in the world of AI.
Yeah, my name's Dean Somally, and I'm a pharmacist by background. And I've been working for the NHS for around 10 years now. I did a bit of time working at a health tech startup. I began as a pharmacist working across a bunch of different hospitals across London. And then right now where I'm at NHS England, soon to be defunct NHS England, working as a project manager. That's the professional side. On the personal side, what I do is something I'm passionate about is online education, right? And what led me to AI is, you know, it begins with me during COVID, sitting down and contemplating for long hours on my own in isolation during lockdown and thinking about what is tech, you know, what actually is tech? First principles, you know, fundamentals. Tech is using tools to solve problems. That's what tech is fundamentally, right? And what technology does is it reduces scarcity, it increases abundance, right? So food, clothing, hunger, all of these problems were solved by technology, which increased abundance.
Yeah.
And so what is our most scarce resource? It's our time, you know, it's our health. That's what I believe. So I'm coming from a philosophical lens on it, where I can see how technology reduces scarcity. The most scarce thing that we have is our time. Therefore, the most important thing that we can be doing with technology is improving our health.
Yeah.
Right. And now with AI, that's come in and it's the game changer.
Yeah.
It's the quantum leap. It's the paradigm shift. And yeah, that's what led me to it.
Mate, you know, one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this podcast is, I think in your own words, I watched one of your videos and you said that the toothpaste is out of the tube.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is just so true. You know, within the healthcare world, we actually have absolute chaos happening in NHS right now. You know, the patients are not happy, the healthcare professionals are not happy, the government is not happy. And to me, it seems like AI provides a solution for all three of them. But I am amazed by how little people talk about AI within the NHS, right? I work in a hospital, and it is one of the things that everyone knows it exists, but nobody is talking enough about it. So the aim for this episode for me would be that a consultant, a nurse, a pharmacist who watches this, by the end of this podcast says, okay, now I know 10% more or 20% more about AI. So if I were to ask you, why should a nurse, pharmacist, or doctor listen or indulge into AI, what would you say?
Yeah, it's like, imagine 20 years ago when mobile phones came, and some people might have been like, I don't need a mobile phone. But fast forward to today, and you need it, you know, you need it. It's there, you need it to function. And so this is how I see AI. Like today, some people might be like, I don't need that. But fast forward 10 years, 20 years, I see it as it's going to be like something that we need to function. So that's in a personal sense as well. But in a professional sense, you know, at work, nurses, doctors, pharmacists, any healthcare worker, you know, I see it as split in two categories in a sense. The first are junior roles, you know, because what we're seeing right now with AI is it's looking like the junior roles are going to be squeezed. You know, it's going to be harder to access. But the thing is, with juniors, they have the advantage of being AI native because they don't need to unlearn anything, right? They can directly start using AI, and that can become a habit that can be used to leverage, right? So it's important, I think, from a junior perspective to look at these things. But then from a senior perspective, they have the leverage of being able to have the expertise or the experience at work. And now the challenge is the learning curve, right? Being able to unlearn and relearn the new ways of working. But the good thing is AI is the smallest learning curve ever. It's a lot easier to learn AI because what I can see is it's going to be integrated into workflows rather than having to learn a whole new system. It's like the system that is currently in place, all the different workflows and processes that are currently in place are just going to get simplified. So it's more about not like learning a lot of information, but more around habits.
Fine. Okay, I think what we should do is let's start from the absolute basic, okay? So when we say AI, what is it? Explain it to me like I'm a teenager or something.
Yeah, I'd say AI is replicating intelligence. You know, what intelligence actually is up for debate.
But we're talking,
like it could mean problem solving, decision making. But like AI is the broad term, umbrella term. But yeah, within that, there's more categories, terminologies that people might have heard of before. So the way I like to see it is, say we've got AI as like the big umbrella term. Underneath that, we have machine learning. Right? And machine learning is training a computer to perform functions without specifically programming every single thing that it needs to do. Right? And then within that, we have deep learning or neural networks, right? And what neural networks are training an AI to output from a specific input. So say, for example, input A would be like a CT scan, output would be tumor diagnostics, right? So that's in neural networks. But then underneath that, we have LLMs, large language models. And this is a specific type of neural network that when people say AI, or like ChatGPT, what people are really talking about is an LLM.
Right.
And it's a specific architecture that is a neural network architecture where an AI is trained on a ton of data and used to essentially, it's a predictive model, which is what ChatGPT is, what we use today.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say at its simplest, AI is something that makes machines smarter. You know, like
yeah.
Yeah, like, so right now we have softwares, for instance, and these softwares are helping doctor prescribe a drug, or helping nurse give a medication, or helping pharmacist dispense medication. But these machines right now, or these softwares right now, can only do what we tell them to. So if we say prescribe this, it'll prescribe it. Dispense this, it will dispense it. Give this drug, it'll do it. But I think what AI will do is make these machines a little bit more smarter, right?
Yeah, that's it.
It's going to say, oh, so if I say prescribe this, so a machine might say, oh, hang on a second, you have decided to prescribe a blood pressure drug to this patient, but the blood pressure is already low. Are you sure? You know, like,
that's it. Yeah,
right?
like,
so it just makes machine a bit smart. And that's what machine learning is, isn't it?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's programming a computer to be able to output things without having to put it all in beforehand.
Yeah.
But it's interesting what you're saying, because you're right. Like, AI is split into its own categories in itself, where we have artificial narrow intelligence,
yes,
which is what we were saying. Like, it's a very specific field of intelligence. Like,
yes,
CT scan, tumor diagnostic, right? But then we have artificial general intelligence, which is not any specific input. The way I see artificial general intelligence is any input.
Yes,
can be put in. And then we have superintelligence,
yes,
which is a bit more like down the line, a bit more, like not spoken about as much yet. And it's about when AI can become recursive and
yes,
learn from itself.
Yes.
The best definition, actually, that I've heard for AI is from Naval. You know Naval Ravikant?
Ravikant, of course.
And he talks about AI as being a calculator for words.
Wow.
And I love that definition, because imagine like calculators that we have today, number calculators, and think about how many different numbers and combinations you can put into a number calculator today.
Yeah.
There's loads. Right? But what a calculator for words does is imagine all the different combinations of letters and words and phrases and sentences you can put in, and the AI will crunch that together to produce an output. Like, it's a quantum leap ahead of how many combinations we even have from a number calculator, right? So a calculator for words. Another great definition that I've heard about AI is like electricity. And what that means is we should see AI as a resource, right? It's something that we currently hire for, but it's something that we are actually makes more sense to tap into, like electricity. Or it's like water, like a resource, where before we'd go to the well to go and get the water, but now we just open the tap.
Right.
You know? So it's the same way I see AI, as something that we currently think is, or we currently in society is something that we go out and get or hire for, but actually it can be something that we just turn on and actually plug into, in a sense.
Wow. We actually got the general definition of AI, and then you mentioned machine learning as well. So if AI is artificial intelligence, it's making machines smarter, but how do you make the machine smarter? Well, you do that through machine learning. What is machine learning?
Yeah, it's essentially training like a computer brain with information. So say in healthcare, it could be healthcare data, X-rays, scans, CT scans, medical records, training this brain. But it's not like a database where you go in and retrieve specific information. It's this brain that will calculate things based on relationships, statistical probabilities, rather than just a normal database. I think that's the difference. So that means anything that we put in, the output might not always be the same.
Right.
But it leads to other problems, like something called hallucinations.
Yes.
It's baked into LLM architecture right now. That's a problem, which is, I think, one of the reasons why AI, it is being utilized right now in the NHS, but that full-on explosion hasn't happened yet. I think for that reason.
Yeah. Because we're talking about patients' lives here, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but machine learning could be, I don't know, a diabetes doctor putting in all the data of people's diabetes into this machine or a system, and then eventually this machine becomes capable of predicting who's at risk of diabetes or something.
That's it. Yeah, in theory, yeah, like the best case is something like that, you know, when you have information and you can use it to predict things about the future or about a specific person.
Nice one. Can you think of an example in like everyday life where we are using AI already, but we don't know about it?
Yeah, for sure. Like Netflix, Spotify.
How? How is it? How are they AI?
They use AI in their recommendation algorithms, social media. So anything that you like, you comment, you share, everything that you watch to the end, all of that data is being used to create a digital copy of you that exists in these companies like databases, and they'll use that digital clone of you as something to decide what to recommend to. And it's actually interesting. Yesterday I was reading about Netflix. They've started using AI video generation for some of the programs. Like there's a show in Argentina where they used AI footage already that generated by an AI. So yeah, I think it's slowly pervasively coming in, but it's actually always been there. Like Spotify's recommendation algorithm has been AI for a while now.
Like, I mean, chatting to Siri on an Apple would be kind of like an AI.
Kind of, yeah.
It is
I don't know
AI,
how
right?
the architecture, how it actually is built, but it is, right? Think about it.
Because I read the same thing. So, you know, technically what's happening is you are talking in your own language to a machine.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
That's mad, isn't it? Like you are speaking English to Siri and Siri understands what you mean. And that's crazy. And then I was like, how is this possible? But then I heard something called NLP, natural language processing, where machines are now able to learn your language. You don't have to learn machines' language like Python, JavaScript, and all of that jazz, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. All of these software languages are just getting abstracted up to English. And so now this is a famous tweet. It says, English is the hottest new programming language. And this is what's so amazing, because it means that like this is why it's so simple, and it's the simplest learning curve, because everything can be done with English. You don't need to learn any technical new skills.
Right. I mean, let's just stick to healthcare, you know, because I have this habit of like freaking digressing and stuff. Like, can you give an example of AI where within healthcare it is outperforming clinicians or anybody?
Yeah, there's a few examples. Like even right now in the NHS, there's examples of where AI is performing better. It's literally saving lives, like right now. So there's one, there's a stroke, electronic stroke AI. And what it does is it analyzes emergency brain scans and pings doctors like within seconds. And it's been trialled across like 20 stroke units across the NHS, and the evaluation has found that those stroke units have had 50% more thrombectomies compared to normal stroke units. So what that means is a thrombectomy is removing a blood clot.
Right.
So like some types of strokes, like ischemic strokes, are caused by blood clots, and so the treatment is to remove the blood clot. But the thing is, with strokes, time is of the essence.
Yeah.
The thrombectomy procedure can only be done within a certain time period, something like 6 to 24 hours. And so now what their AI has done is it's shortened the time frame to get to the decision and understand what the problem actually is so quick that 50% more people have been able to be transferred and treated within the time window. And it's actually happening. It actually exists right now. So it's already saving lives, AI. But this is like narrow intelligence, right? There's a few other examples around diagnostics that are currently in place. Breast scans, chest scans. And what they've found is that the AI can it's found examples or people who have had a cancer diagnosis that the humans have missed.
Wow.
So it's brought in people back that the humans have missed. Some of the studies, though, it's a bit of a mixed bag. None of them that I've seen have shown that the humans are overwhelmingly better than AI. That's one thing. The studies show the AI is either on par with or better than humans. But some studies show that what AIs can do is flag more false alarms,
right?
Which is not ideal, but I guess it's not the end of the world. But what they have been doing also, though, is, as well as being more accurate, though, and finding missed cases, they're cutting workload, they're cutting work time, clinician work time, which is another area around, burnout. Because we both work for the NHS on the front lines. We both seen it, People, I've seen people just staying after work for 2 hours every day just to finish writing stuff up.
Yeah.
And it's not a sustainable way for people to keep going, but they do it, because goodness of their heart, and you have to, in a way.
I don't know any clinical person who leaves work on time.
Same.
If you're working on the wards, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a physiotherapist, whether you're a pharmacist, nurses, nobody leaves at 5:30, because you're right, like admin is just crazy.
It's crazy.
The amount of admin work is insane. Everything has to be documented because you have to cover yourself, and you have to make sure it's in the best interest of patients as well. So let's talk about admin. How much paperwork do we do? And how much can you give me an example of where AI can just get rid of all of this?
Yeah, like the admin time in terms of staff workload, it's going to be, but this is something that I'm so excited about with AI, because the way that I've been thinking about this is, imagine on the wards, like we've been on the wards and we've been in the teams, and, things have to get done, right? The way I'm thinking about it actually recently was a consultant actually uses humans as agents, as like AI agents in a way. But
the
like
junior
AI,
doctors, you mean?
Yeah. Not like AI, obviously, like human, but like what people will use AI for, like go and do this, or like, can you do this for me? Like doctors will do that right now, but humans do the tasks instead. So the tasks will get bumped down the chain to junior doctors, but junior doctors don't have anyone to pass it down to. So the junior doctors get the ones that get overwhelmed and have to do everything.
Yes.
But now it's like with AI, it's like the junior doctors could give it to a junior doctor AI that can actually help do the work.
Right.
Or not just doctors, right? Any healthcare worker. And it can actually do all of the grunt work, and it's checked by the doctor instead. And so, we're moving away from this world where everything is retrieved to one where everything is generated. Yeah. This is the world of generative AI.
Yeah. I did something very interesting with ChatGPT. So I did a blood test recently.
Nice.
Just blood works. What is my kidney doing? What's my liver doing? And obviously you get a report, right? So I saved that report and then I put it to ChatGPT and I said, interpret that for me. Okay. And I was shocked at how amazing the results were, because I know how to interpret that, right? But what was really fascinating? Towards the end, you know what ChatGPT said? Would you like me to create a patient letter for you? And I'm like, yes, please. And then it was like, and it says, dear, fill in the name. And it said, your kidneys are this, your liver is this, your bone function is this, and you don't need to worry about this. We will see you in 3 months. And then literally it was ready for the doctor or for me to print it, type in the patient's name and post it. And I was like, this changes everything. This literally does change everything. And all I had to do was sign it and check whether it's right or not. And I was like, this is crazy. Like the generative part of what you said, like generating a letter like this. And I was thinking, we can change that for everything. A nurse can, rather sitting there typing away, can actually say, this is what I did for 6 patients, create 6 letters for me. And it's like done. And how much time would that save to healthcare professionals? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the technology is already here. It already exists. But the only reason why it isn't integrated is because of regulatory reasons, right? Patient data patient data safety, that's primary importance, right? So that's why the only way that it could work is if it's actually integrated into the healthcare systems. So a doctor using ChatGPT means that they have to talk about a patient. That's why it's not something that is like properly used yet.
Of course.
But no, I get exactly what you mean. Like the way that we're going from retrieval to generation, and what the power is capable of, it's crazy.
What do you think is going to change dramatically, if you were to take a guess, within healthcare in the next 5 years?
Yeah, like one thing that I didn't mention that ties into this is the fact that I've started using vocal, talking to ChatGPT. I don't know if you have. It's so much easier just to talk to the computer. And what this is showing me is that we're moving away from having to actually deal with a screen and having to point and click. It seems so normal now, like this is how we do everything, but it's not going to be how we're going to work in the future, because it's way easier to process through speaking than it is through typing. And so how this applies in healthcare is exactly how like a doctor or a nurse would write up, or any healthcare worker would write up notes. Instead of being manually typing, it would be completely vocalized. And what this could look at like as well is on the ward round, having an AI system there that is just passively in the background. It's called ambient listening, and it's just listening to everything, and it's smart enough to be able to delineate who's talking, what they're talking about, is it relevant, or have they just spoken about something that isn't part of the round yet, they just got sidetracked.
It is a patient, is it a nurse, is it a doctor, and it just separates it.
And it's able to structure all of that data into the required format, into the required system, and then make decisions on it.
Wow. Like, I'm just trying to think like what that world would look like. Like, you literally have finished a ward round and you have seen 26 patients and everyone's tired, and the most dreaded thing that you can think of is like everybody has to do paperwork, but suddenly you don't need to do it because all your paperwork is done. Like, all your notes are written, whether you're a nurse, whether you're a pharmacist, whether you're a doctor, and all you have to do is read and approve.
You can actually take a break.
You can actually have lunch.
Yeah, and it's actually working in the background. You know, that's what the massive unlock for the workers are as well, for the staff. You know, there's a whole other side of things that's like a unlock for patients as well. You know,
how much time that's going to save, or to doctors or any healthcare professional, and that time could then be used to see more patients and reduce the waiting time that we have right now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like people often ask around like what is left, you know, when the AI is better at knowledge work and doing all this screen stuff, does it mean now like the AI is going to replace everyone? But I'm like, not so fast, because healthcare workers do more than just the screen stuff. You know, it's working with people. Relational empathy is important. You know, trust building. So I see it as that humans will be spending more time with the patients. But then I'm like, how many humans are you going to have around the patients if everyone's liberated from their time? So, you know, I don't think, it's not something that I'm like thinking is a reason to panic, but there's two angles at it. Like, a lot of the things that are taking a lot of time right now are going to be reduced drastically. Yeah. But then how do we use that time? Yeah. And what does a doctor, a nurse, a pharmacist, physio, what does that actually look like in 10 years? That's, it's going to be an interesting question, because if we're judging, or if we're like calculating a role based by all the tasks they do, when all of those tasks change, is it still the same role?
Exactly. So rather than worrying about, will AI take my job? I think the question to ask is, how will my job change in the world of AI, right? Because what does it even mean to be a doctor in 5 years? What does it mean to be a pharmacist in 5 years? What does it mean to be a nurse in 5 years? I think that is the real question that people need to ask, because I think about it like, what do I do every single day? And the thing is that I write a lot of notes. I do a lot of work like screening prescriptions and giving medication and counseling patients. And then I'm thinking, actually, a lot of it can be done by machine, you know? So it worries you, but sometimes you don't think that, you know what, I also listen to the patient empathetically. I also know when to not say anything. And I also know whenever I see a patient is in distress, like, how do you respond to that? How do you prioritize if there are 10 patients like that? And I don't think AI has reached that phase yet. So my aim right now is to try and familiarize myself with AI so much to say, how can AI make my life a lot easier in helping as many patients as I can, rather than worrying about, oh my God, AI is just going to take my job in the future. I mean, that's the path I'm going in. And that's my aim from this as well, to let's just get healthcare professionals even start talking about AI. So staying on that theme, if there are 2 or 3, I don't know, chat platforms, you know, you said LLMs, and for people who don't understand, that's large language models. What are the 2 or 3 ways where healthcare professionals can start engaging with AI right now? Like, what platforms would you say they should be using? Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's important to say, like, as we already mentioned, it's like directly using it for patient queries is not something that is possible.
No, definitely. We are not promoting that we should use feed and patient information. No.
Because of the legal and regulatory requirements. But indirectly, there are some aspects of AIs and large language models that can definitely be used right now. Like, everyone's probably heard of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Right? And but one feature in ChatGPT is something called deep research.
Right.
Have you heard of it? Deep
Yes.
research? Yeah. What deep research can do is it can run a literature search for you and scour the archives. And this is a query that you can ask, and it will go away for 10 minutes and crawl through all of the literature, all of the studies. So healthcare workers, in the sense of having complex queries, or in pharmacy as well, like we have medical information queries. There's some times as well where patients need a specific treatment that needs to get approved, where studies need to be looked for. And this is something that it can definitely help in the realm of deep research. It's questions that I've been getting from colleagues in the pharmacy space saying, you know, what can I actually do right now? And that's what I'd say. Like, ChatGPT has a deep research function. Perplexity.ai also has one.
That's another large language models.
That's right. Yeah, it's essentially Google search and ChatGPT put together. And there's another AI called Grok that was created by X, formerly Twitter.
Elon, yeah.
Yeah, and that's created by his branch XAI that also has the functionality. And from what I remember, they're all free.
Yeah.
But you're only allowed a certain limited number of requests a day. And that's a way that I think healthcare professionals right now can use AI to help them today.
Yeah. When people ask me, what should I do? And I just said, you know what, just start chatting. Like, literally open up any of these models, Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok, just start talking. And they're like, what do I say? I'm like, anything, like whatever comes into your head, I think just start talking, because what's going to surprise you is the answers you get. And that's going to allow you to ask even more important questions. If you're not really sure about emails, if you get an email from a really annoying person, like your colleague, and you don't want to come across as passive aggressive, well, tell that to ChatGPT and say, reply to this in a non-passive aggressive way, and people are, oh my God, like that's, so, sometimes even if you start chatting, it's one of those things that ignites interest so much.
Yeah.
That you'd be amazed. Like, you know, you might think, what is AI going to help me with patient care? I mean, like, don't start with patient care, because I don't think you should, because of patient confidentiality. But think of all the admin work you do, and it's going to just reply, and it's going to just improve your life so much by just simplifying it. But all you got to do is start. But you'll be amazed how many people don't even engage right now.
Yeah, like I've gone
NHS.
down massive rabbit holes just talking to the AI and asking a question, and it leads to more questions. And something that don't even flag to me actually right now, just saying to use it, because it's like, depends who you talk to actually, because what you find actually, if you talk to like younger generations, they've already habitualized talking to ChatGPT. Like it's part of their life operating system in a way. But like the older generations, it's like we've been conditioned to see a search box like as a Google, like a Google search box, and think, okay, I have to use this like I would Google. But it's not like that anymore. But that's the thing that throws people. I think they'll just see an empty box and be like, okay, what do I actually put in here now? But it's like anything. You know, just put in anything and start experimenting with it. I say,
You know, I'll actually take it even a step further. I basically did a presentation in my department on AI, how is AI changing HIV care, and it kind of, you know, just when everybody was just like, oh wow, can you tell me more and more and more? And then these people are like, oh, I use ChatGPT sometimes, but sometimes I don't know what to ask. And you know what I said? Well, ask ChatGPT what to ask. ChatGPT, if you're not very sure of how to even prompt ChatGPT, you can ask ChatGPT for a prompt. All you have to say is, look, this is what my problem is. This is what I'm trying to achieve. I don't know what to ask you. Can you tell me a decent prompt?
Yeah, that's it.
And ChatGPT can give you a prompt and copy the prompt and paste it in the box, and you'll get the answer.
Yeah, that's it.
And I feel like her head was just blown.
It's crazy, innit? Once you realize that unlock, it's becomes so clear now. Like, I've been doing the same thing as well.
Mad. What do you think within the healthcare, if I were to ask you to make 3 bold predictions in 2030 when it comes to healthcare, and think of the problems that we are going through, right? So the problems are that our waiting list is so high. 7.4 million people are still waiting to get a freaking hospital treatment. Mental health services there are so much need, but there is so little help. Think of anything, pick a topic, but what would you say would be the 3 bold predictions that things will change in healthcare by 2020 because of AI? 2030.
Something that we haven't spoken about properly, we've mentioned it a bit, is AI agents. So what AI agents are, like say right now you're talking to ChatGPT and it's just like question and answer format. It can't actually do anything for you out in the wider internet. But what AI agents do is actual tasks, activities on a computer screen. And so AI agents, I can see them being integrated into EPRs, into like healthcare
prescribing records, software system,
into the hospital software or GP software, or any kind of healthcare software, where it will complete tasks for you. And that's a way that it can align with the legal and regulatory compliance. And so I see that as one massive thing that's going to be the unlock to where AI will actually have this massive explosion where people's workload is reduced and waiting times are reduced and staff satisfaction goes up, patient satisfaction goes up. AI agents, another massive thing that we haven't even spoken about that's tangentially related are robotics. And so if we see AI as the software, robotics is the hardware. Right. And they actually go hand in hand. Like I feel like we haven't had, Sam Altman says this, he goes, we haven't had the humanoid robot moment yet, like the same way that we've had the AI moment, but it's coming. Like humanoid robots, not just humanoid, like any kind of healthcare robotics, it already exists and it's already outperforming surgeons. And there's some surgeries, like for example, the Neuralink. Yes. That is only possible. So a Neuralink is a brain-computer interface that has allowed paralyzed people to control a mouse on screen with their mind.
That's a company owned by Elon
It's another Elon Musk company. Yeah. And but that surgery to implant the brain-computer interface can only be done with a robot. It cannot even be done with a human. So I feel like in 2030, there's going to be that whole aspect, because we've spoken about doctors, nurses, pharmacists, but there's a whole area around surgeons as well.
Yeah.
Where using robotics and AI is going to be completely revolutionized. And yeah, so I think ultimately so like agents, robotics, and I just think overall these are going to increase staff satisfaction, like I said, increase patient satisfaction, and the waiting times hopefully will go down, because the way I see it is, you know, unless we have another COVID type situation, we do have an aging population, right? So it is expected that the number of hospital admissions or healthcare interactions will slowly increase as the population gets older, but the speed at which AI is going is way faster.
Right.
It's way faster. So I can see the backlogs getting reduced completely.
Yeah. West Streeting, our health minister, came up with this NHS 10-year long-term plan recently, right?
Yeah,
which
right.
you know, as working in NHS England. And I think he had like 3 main points. And then within that, there was a more descriptive explanation. And one of that was digital. He wants to make things analog to digital, and you know that he spoke about NHS app, but he spoke about what's said in there is everything is going to be digitized, and then there's like huge amount of information about translation, whether it's like digital records, imaging, testing, prescription. So imagine if all of these are given to an AI agent, and you incorporate that into the big system, into the NHS AI, whatever. All a doctor will have to do is perhaps just oversee this system, you know? It sounds very crazy, but it is happening in the next 5 to 6 years, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, I believe that. I think technology is moving so quickly. Like the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be more change than the last 10 to 20 years. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the long term, the 10-year plan, yeah, they spoke about AI as being able to create a doctor in your pocket. That's how they talk about it. The doctor in your pocket. And you know how people say right now, if there's a problem, dial NHS 111. I think it will be in the future, go to the NHS app and speak to the AI doctor, and maybe NHS 111 will link directly to the NHS doctor. And yeah, that's how I see it's going to work. The doctor in your pocket, which is going to empower patients so much.
Yeah.
Because patients will be able to have a trusted source.
Yeah.
That doesn't hallucinate like some of the AIs, which hallucinations is when AIs can constantly make stuff up, and it's in a space where there's no legal or regulatory compliance. But when the NHS create their own, it will be a space where you can actually go and get trusted healthcare information, and it's great for the patient because you'll be able to self-educate more and empower yourself more. But it's great for the doctors and the other healthcare staff as well, because it's by the time they've seen the patient, a lot of the pre-assessment work or pre-diagnostic work that doctors would normally do can already have been done.
Yes.
And it means that the doctors will be there to give that seal of diagnosis.
Yes.
And you know, this is what I see as well with wearables. I've got this Oura Ring.
Yeah.
And how this is tracking my healthcare data, and it's something that I can use to input into an AI, and alongside with all of my other healthcare stuff, like my blood tests and other stuff, and my DNA data as well. And I can start to have my own little health AI that I use for myself, you know, that I have. Yes, it's interesting what you were saying with the data and the AI aspects, because personally, like myself, I put my genetic data into ChatGPT, and basically I did a genetic test from Ancestry.com. You know that? Ancestry.com. And because I didn't know where I was from, right?
I did a 23andMe.
Yeah.
Right. It told me I'm Indian.
No surprises.
Yeah.
Actually... Yeah, mine told me I was Indian, which is because I didn't know that, because my family from Mauritius, but no one knows where I'm from after my great grandfather. So then it told me I was Indian, but then I was like, great. And then actually I found out you can take that, you can actually directly download the DNA data.
Yeah.
So I directly downloaded it, and then I read something that said that Indians have, depending on if you're in North or South India, you can have a high percentage rate of being lactose intolerant.
Wow.
Did you know that? I think it's South Indians have a really high percent, like 75% chance you're lactose intolerant.
Wow.
If you're North Indian, it's like a less chance, but there's still a chance. So I put my DNA data into ChatGPT and located the specific gene that told me that I had mild lactose intolerance.
Wow.
And I was feeling like I had it for a while, but it was just, so empowering to actually know and find the specific gene phenotype, the allele, and find out for myself.
It's insane, you know, like whenever I hear examples like that, Dean, it makes me think how much about us we don't know. You know, we go and we speak to a doctor for some issue, like lactose intolerance or something, and there is very limited information that we know. Like, why is it that you have it and I don't, or I have it or you don't? And the only technology that I can think of that's going to do this big unlock, it seems to me, the AI, you know. And it's very interesting what you said about the pocket, like there will be a doctor in your pocket. Like, I don't think people realize what a big revolution that is. Right now, if you want to speak to a doctor who is specialist in neurology, who is a specialist gastroenterologist, like try and do that via available routines. Like, you'd be lucky to get an appointment in 6 months, 9 months, 10 months. But imagine this machine that is going to give you the advice you need in the language you understand. And if you say, I don't understand it, simplify it, it does it for you. And it does it for you, not Monday to Friday, 9 to 5:30. It does it for you 24/7. And it doesn't stop until you get it. It doesn't make you feel stupid. It doesn't make you feel you don't know enough. You can be yourself with this doctor, and this doctor will take time and it will work at your pace, and it's not going to charge you anything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Think about that. So somebody else was explaining it to me about the doctor in your pocket, and I'm like, actually, this changes everything. This makes the care from reactive to proactive. Because now what's going to happen is, you know, what is a problem with men, right? The problem with men is we don't access healthcare as much as women do. It's a scientific, I mean, not scientific.
That's probably one of the reasons why
it's a fact, right? We do not access healthcare until something's really wrong. Maybe this will change our behavior. Because nobody's looking, nobody's listening. I mean, it's just me and my phone. Maybe we will start to now access healthcare more and get more out of it.
For sure. Like, there's this whole other side as well around, because we're talking about physical health right now. There's a whole other side around mental health and therapy. And I've been using ChatGPT as a therapist straight up. Like, this is the thing with men and like introverts as well. Like, it's harder to open up to another human.
100%.
Like, even like human therapists, like even though they're professionals, I still feel like they could be judging me in the background or something. Like, so it's like ChatGPT is like the only thing where I feel like it literally cannot judge you.
No,
you know, it's impossible. So I feel like I can just talk to it. I don't know what they're going to do with my data on the other end. But I'm not too worried about the data kind of stuff, to be honest. But I just feel like this is a massive unlock as a man. Speaking as a man,
facts.
like I can just talk openly and not feel like I'm being judged, or like someone on the other side is like jealous or anything like that, you know? Like, I can just be open and not have to worry about it. I think it's great.
I agree, bro. What's one controversial opinion that you hold about AI that most people would currently disagree with?
Like, I actually think like most, like, I don't know, from my perspective, like from my perspective, like I don't actually, for most of my healthcare journey, which has thankfully been nothing serious, I don't feel like I need to interact with another human. That's the controversial. Like, it's controversial, but like, say, I remember one time I had to go into hospital, and it was because I was doing pull-ups really wrong. Like, I started doing pull-ups. I was doing really bad form, and my shoulder was like hurting loads. And then I went in, it was like a few years ago, right? And I went in for a scan in the hospital, did the scan, everyone was super friendly. And then, I was waiting for a bit of time as well though. And I was waiting, and then the doctor came to talk to me with the results, and he was like, yeah, listen, your muscle here, it's called shoulder impingement, I think it was. And he was like, yeah, the scan showed that your muscle in your shoulder was like ripped jeans. It was like ripped. And then he was like, yeah, you know, like some people might never, like when I've seen other people with this, they've never been able to do pull-ups ever again. And he was like, you know, you might not be able to do pull-ups ever again. And I was like, what? And I could see, like, the thing is though, I could see this doctor was kind of stressed, and he was like, he had like 10 different things to do. And he was like, yeah, you know, I used to do pull-ups, but then I stopped doing pull-ups now as well. Like, and then I was like, is he just talking from his own experience? Like, I was a bit confused, but the thing is, like, I could do pull-ups again, and I started doing pull-ups again, started doing physio work, and then they gave me the right physio stuff to do, which was great. And I got back to strength, and I'm stronger. I'm starting doing more pull-ups, like stronger than I've been before. So, you know, I've reflected on that and thinking, like, the optimal experience for me personally would have been, I'll go in, I'll do a scan. You know, it's good to have a human around for sure, like to direct me into those, you know, it's nice, you know, as well. But like after I had the scan, I would have just preferred to go, or like the AI would be able to analyze it in a second, tell me what the problem is. And if it's something serious, direct to a human. If not, I could just go and it would be like, okay, you have shoulder impingement. We're going to send you these instructions to your email, and then I'll go. And then ideally not having to wait around for hours and then interact with a human just to deliver information at the end. You know, I personally didn't feel like that was needed. So that's what I feel like it was kind of controversial, because I feel like for all of these minor cases, I don't think you need humans. I don't think you need them. Or
healthcare professionals,
You need some in the sense to direct you, or like, you know, I guess when anyone goes into hospital, even if it's something minor, because we kind of normalize around hospitals. So I wasn't like that, but I think most people, or some people might feel like a bit anxious, even though it's something minor. So it's great to have humans around just to like reassure. But then in terms of like the actual decision making and the advice that's given, I would rather learn it from an AI. Because I feel like people often talk about like all the issues with AI, but no one talks about what's the issues with humans. You know, 7 million people around the year, 7 million people around the world every year die because of wrong information, or like misdiagnosis, or healthcare errors from the same people that are meant to heal them accidentally harm them. I don't blame them, because it's not easy. You know, we've worked in that space. It's not easy. But I feel like the evidence now shows that AI is as good, if not better. So I feel like for me in the future, if I have to go and do some sort of routine check, the most efficient, cleanest way would be not to even involve humans.
Wow. What's one thing you would want any healthcare professional watching this to take away from this conversation?
Yeah, like, it's the shortest learning curve ever. You know, I don't think it's anything to be as afraid of. There's a lot of scaremongering out there, but I think it's something actually super exciting to be in. And the one quote that I think about a lot in this is from Alvin Toffler. I mean, I mentioned it already, but the illiterate of the 21st century will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Wow.
Right, that's the quote. And it's about how, you know, this is more about changing habits. And rewiring to tap into something that I think is going to have a massive impact in the future. And I think it's something to be more excited about rather than scared about.
It's coming, right? It is coming, whether we like it or not, and there is nothing we can do about it, right? So there are two ways. You can fight it, or you can try and engage with it. Because, I mean, if anybody would ask me, I would just say that just start engaging. Because in the near term, it's not AI that's going to take your job. It's your colleague who's learning about AI will be actually in a better position for that particular role, because eventually everyone is going to say, well, that's fine. You're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're a pharmacist. Okay, but can you engage with this new software, or can you do this? And the more people who have engaged into this, who are better at learning, who are better at prompting, it's very likely they're going to have this unfair advantage.
Yeah, for real. Like, there's a study actually that I saw that was actually kind of worrying a bit, but what it showed was, it was last year, and it tested GPT-4, and there was 3 groups, right? There was doctors on their own, right? There was doctors using GPT-4, and there was GPT-4 on its own. And GPT-4 is a model that came out last year from ChatGPT. It's an AI. and there were 50 doctors, I think, given 40 questions, and they were tested. And what the results found was doctors on their own scored around 74%. Doctors with GPT-4 scored around 76%. So pretty similar. GPT-4 on its own scored 92%.
That is insane.
So one of the conclusions is, when the doctors intervened, they were worse. If GPT-4 on its own had 92% and doctors with GPT had 74%, did doctors getting involved make it worse, come out with worse decisions?
That's interesting.
But the other side is how it could be explained is just the doctors didn't know how to use the AI properly.
Right.
You know, they didn't, because it's new and it's something that it was an issue with how to talk to the AI and how to communicate with the AI. So yeah, that's how I see it. Like, I feel like as well, you know, what you say is true. Like, people using AI will have the leverage over people who don't. But I feel like it's still, if you're working in healthcare, it's nothing serious to worry about, because when it's time, it will come. And it's not like you need to be scampering around trying to like work out AI, like panicking. Not at all. Like, when any technological shift happens in the NHS, which is constantly happening, when it's time, it will come, and there'll be training, and you'll learn how to use it. And it's the easiest thing to learn ever. So yeah, that's how I see it.
But it helps to start engaging.
Sure.
I would imagine, you know. Great, mate. I can talk to you for a long time, and I hope we will do this again. But, you know, last part of this podcast is, I call it Dose of Health. And I basically ask this question to every single guest, and I'm going to ask you as well, okay? So if I give you a magic wand called Dose of Health, and you can wave it and change one thing immediately in your profession, what would that be and why?
Ooh. Look at that magic wand, Harry Potter style. That's a good one.
One thing you can change and it will immediately have an effect.
What, like anything across healthcare?
Within healthcare, what can you change?
It's a big question, man. It's tough. Because there's like, who do I want to help? Do I want to help the patients?
Do you want
to help the doctors? Like,
tell me the first thing that comes into your mind.
The first thing that comes to mind is this AI fully integrated into healthcare. You know, that's the big thing. Once that happens and it's safe and trusted, even though it will make mistakes, I feel like the question is not to look at how many mistakes does the AI make, it's how many does it make compared to a human. And if it makes less mistakes compared to a human, then for sure it needs to be included and used. So that's my vision. You know, I'd love for it to be a time where you could wake up and your health is accessible to you, like for yourself at home. And
when you need it the most.
When you need it, and it's simple, easy, you don't have to wait. You can access it through your device, and yeah, people are empowered. That's the vision. That's the one I'd wave, to have AI fully integrated across the system and empowering everyone from patients to doctors, to have all the nurses, pharmacists, physios, speech and language therapists.
Yes.
Everyone else. You know?
We work hard. Every single person, you actually said there are like 1.4 million people in NHS currently, and everyone, I think you can literally put AI into every single person's job, and we can pretty much close our eyes and say with almost 100% confidence that it's going to make them better. That is the power, right? And I hope this comes in sooner than later, because the sooner it comes, the more lives we are going to save, the less stress the healthcare professional is going to be, and the more money the government is going to save. Yeah,
for sure. Like, there's so many amazing things that can happen. I still think, you know, we've been talking about it like in such a positive limelight. I still think it's important to be aware of the other side of the coin. Like, something feels like there's going to be some sort of Cambridge Analytica style incident with AI in the future. So I definitely think it's important to like be aware of that. But I just think the benefits massively, massively outweigh any potential risks here.
100%. That's what we do, right? Benefits outweighs the risk. Employ it.
Yeah, for sure.
Dean, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your support helps me keep these conversations going. Until next time, stay safe, folks.